Hello, welcome to Art Snacks. Today we're going to draw an arrowhead. Arrowheads were used on the arrows of Plains Indians and other peoples, indigenous peoples. Arrowheads have been around for a long time, since the Stone Ages, and there are different kinds of arrowheads. And I recommend looking at arrowheads, collecting arrowheads. You can get them fairly cheaply, and they're just terribly interesting. I'm going to draw one that's a special kind that was found in Colorado, called a Williams point. Okay, and there are all kinds of different points: Johnson's points and Lajita points and oval end Circe points. But we're going to do it. Point meant the shape of it, and the shapes were certain innovations that different tribes would come up with to make them work better, to help them hunt better. So I'm going to start. Just let's see, we're about right here. We'll just do a little. We're going to start with a basic shape. Okay, and then these they would make out of flint, and they would use another hard rock, a flint, to chip them. And they would chip away at them until they got them to be shaped a certain way. Now you have to imagine the arrow shaft being connected to the back of this, splitting the arrow shaft and putting half on either side, and then wrapping around um, different kinds of fibers, like stuff that they would get from deer or from buffalo. These could be tendons, or they could be rawhide in strips, wrapped around, and then they wet it, and then when it would shrink, it would make a very, very tight connection between the arrow and the arrowhead. As we look at the edges now, we're going to go along the edges, and we're going to just chip away, because remember how it was made, not by a machine, but by a person's hands, chipping away at a shape. Also, that made it serrated. That meant it could cut. A lot of their knives or their tools would have these serrated edges made by chipping away the edges of a very glass-like hard sort of rock. Rock that is hard like this, it's glass-like, is formed under high heat. It's called igneous rock, igneous. And it had good uses for Native Americans. Now let's do a little bit of shading here to make this look a little more 3D. It's not the most, it's kind of a flat thing that we're doing here. But let's go into the body of this and just sort of make a little shading thing happen here. So I'm sort of creating an area of highlight that's sort of shiny because it's made from flint. It's glass-like substance. Okay. Now what I'm adding here is really just one value, this medium dark. If I choose to go back and add a darker, more lighter shade, and I'm keeping this shading that I'm doing a little bit rough, because this is, after all, a tool made out of rock. Okay, a little variation in there. Now to have this look just a little more 3D, I'm going to add a drop shadow. This is just a shadow next to the edge of the object. Makes it sort of stand out like it's standing off the paper just a little bit. I've got to be a little bit careful so I don't get rid of my nice edge that I created. Okay. Arrowhead. See you next time.